Good morning and welcome to Peace Out, where we are all learning together to peace out. And boy, has it been a process, right? For the last 6+ years, we've been talking about peace, and we still need his peace today. And the coolest thing is, his peace has not changed one bit since we started these devotionals 6 years ago, when we were heading into or right into the middle of a pandemic, and we had a lot of questions and a lot of doubts and a lot of thoughts and a lot of stuff going on in our heads and in our world. And now we got the same stuff still around, and we're still, the coolest part is we still have his peace. His peace didn't change. His peace isn't going to change, right? And no matter what happens today or doesn't happen today or happens tomorrow or doesn't happen tomorrow, we still have his peace, period. He's got us covered. I love that about God. So I started thinking about this story, and this is a familiar story. But the more I thought about it, the more I loved this little response from this young man in the story. And the story is this: David and Goliath. Now, we all love David and Goliath, right? The world even uses David and Goliath. And as a matter of fact, there's a book called David and Goliath by, what's his name? Max Gladwell, whatever his name is. And it's about how people overcame big obstacles in their life to be successful. And even though there was obstacles, whether it was dyslexia or things like that, they overcame them. They figured it out and got over them. Right? Even the world uses David and Goliath to talk about big problems and being able to overcome them. Right now, the difference is in David and Goliath. Of course, David did so by the power of God, not by anything else, not by his own smarts or anything like that. But as I look back at this story, I was like, I love this response. And here's the deal, right? Okay, so David's brothers go to war, and they're out at the war. He's back at home taking care of the sheep. He's a shepherd, which is why he can give us so many awesome psalms about how the shepherd takes care of our soul and takes care of us, right? God being our shepherd, because he understood how a shepherd thought, how a shepherd worked. But anyway, so he's just being a shepherd. And so the daddy goes, hey, here's some bread and cheese. Go take some Chick-fil-A to your brothers out there and give them some Chick-fil-A. It's not Sunday, because Chick-fil-A is closed on Sunday, and that's usually the day you crave it, right? But go take some Chick-fil-A and go take this to your brothers and see how they are. Tell them we love them. Tell them we're praying for them. And when he gets there, Goliath comes out, right? And this is all in 1 Samuel 17. Okay, so Goliath comes out and starts railing on them and saying, send somebody out. And the New Living says he actually continued to abuse them with his words, right? But that he's defying the armies of Israel, going, just send one man out. Now, we'll fight, and whoever wins gets the whole thing. Just send one man out, right? And let's fight. And David's response was such where his mental capabilities were. He had the right mindset, right? Because sometimes when challenges present themselves, this was something outside of David's control. This was something outside of David's forte. He wasn't at home where he was comfortable. He's out where they're having the battle in the battlefield. But his mindset was this. It says that Goliath came out and he began to shouting his challenge to the army of Israel. And when the Israelite army saw him, they ran away in fear. Have you seen this giant? They asked. He comes out every day to challenge Israel. Have you heard that huge reward the king has offered to anyone who kills him? The king will give him one of his daughters for a wife, and the whole family will be exempt from paying taxes. Exempt from paying taxes would be a big deal today. That should be a reward for something, valor and honor in our society, right? Exempt us from taxes. Let's do that. Okay. Anyway, and so David goes on talking to everyone else, and I love what he says. Immediately he goes, what did they get? Wait, he didn't even flinch. He had this I'm going to beat him attitude, right? And that comes, it wasn't because he was big of stature. It wasn't because he was such a developed warrior yet. He's going to be soon, but he's not yet, right? It was simply because he was like, you're not going to defy God's army. He's like, why are you guys letting this guy come out here and rail on our armies day after day, all day long? He's like, what did they get? So his mindset, his first question wasn't, how big is he? How tall is he? Let me see his weapons. Can he run very fast? Because I might need to run. His question was, what do they get? What do we get? What will a man get for killing this Philistine and putting an end to this abuse of Israel in Israel? I'm like, that was his response. His response was not fear. It was total confidence. And his mindset was, what do I get when I kill him? What do I get when I take that giant out? What do I get when this ends, when we end this thing? He had this mindset of victory. And you know what? I really think we can go into our days with that same type of mindset. We'll go into our days saying, what do I get when I get to the end of this day? What's the blessings of serving God today? What's the reward for letting peace reign in my heart? Peace is its own reward, right? I think we all agree with that. Peace is its own reward. But if we had that mindset, his question wasn't, how far can he throw the javelin? Or, that shield is really tall. How tall is that shield? Is there a way to get around? His question was totally focused on the victory, not on the giant. The giant comes out, Goliath comes out and says, just somebody come fight me. Just somebody come fight me. And whoever wins. The other army is their slaves and all that, which, we know when David did take Goliath out, their army ran away. They didn't keep their end of the deal, but that's nothing unusual for the enemy. That's such a picture of the enemy. He comes out and taunts and tries to intimidate, tries to belittle and tries to put us down. And you know what? Half of that warfare is in our head every day. I'm working on replacing those negative self-thoughts with positive self-thoughts and what God thinks about me. It's not even as important what I think about me as much as what God thinks about me. That replaces everything. And David knew that he was a warrior after God's own heart. So the Goliath comes out and he goes, what do you get when you beat him? That was the only answer to him. He didn't say, and so if I try and I don't win and I don't die, do I get something anyway? His whole attitude was, what do I get when I take him out? What do I get when I win? And I love that was his first response. When the Goliath comes out, he goes, so what do you get? What's the prize? What's the prize for taking him out? There was no other option for David. He wasn't looking for an easy way. He didn't say, if I go out there, will y'all come behind me? Or will you hide over on the sides? So if I need some help, his whole goal was, what do I get when I take him out? And that's how I want to tackle today. Why? Because, and even with David, when he came out to Goliath, he said, today God will deliver you into my hands. He knew it wasn't his own strength. He knew it wasn't his own might. He knew, and I want to point this out too. When he's saying, what does the man get when he kills Goliath? He didn't even have a weapon yet. He stood there weaponless and he said, what does the man get that takes Goliath out? Because I can't believe y'all been letting this go on and letting him just rail on God's armies this long and defy the God of Israel. I can't believe y'all been doing this that long. And he's like, he didn't even have a weapon in his hand. And his first question still is, what do I get when I take him out? What do I get when I take him out? That was his mindset, right? Was one of victory, was one of winning. And that needs to be, and then when he said, okay, let's go. And then he went and got his 5 stones and went and faced Goliath with just 5 stones and a sling and took him out. How amazing was that? But it was his mindset that was first. Mindset first. And that's how I want to take this day. I want to take this mindset. God will give the enemy into my hand as I give myself into God's hands. And I know God's fighting the battle with me. And that's why I'm going to peace out. Peace out. Have a great day. I'll see you again tomorrow.